Yes, ma'am. My name is Richard, and last name is Capell. That's spelled Capell.
Mhm. And your phone number, sir.
I'm with the Phoenix Volunteer Title II Americans with Disabilities Act auditors. And you currently have Georgia Transparency in your detention center right now, unlawfully arrested and illegally detained and arrested, and you're in violation of Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act because you have no Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator for your detention center. I've just left a detailed message with the Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator for the Georgia Bureau of Investigations reporting y'all for non-compliance with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, committing fraud to the federal government to receive federal funds because that's what y'all do. You don't comply with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, but you're saying, yeah, we meet all the requirements to get those federal funds, send them to us. And you're getting these federal funds and you're committing fraud doing it because you do not have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator for your detention center. You don't have one for your sheriff's department. You don't have one for the general public at your administration building. You don't have one for your elections commission. You do have one for your transportation. That's amazing. But you don't have one for everything else. You better get one because there's no 11th
Could I
Amendment
get a
immunities.
callback number for you, sir?
There's no 11th Amendment immunities for non-compliance with Title II of the ADA. So I need to speak to your ADA coordinator or the person in charge.
Okay, if I could get a callback number for you.
803 552 6574. And I'm
Okay.
expecting a call back from the GBI ADA coordinator. I left a message with them just a while ago. So just giving you a heads up.
Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Al?
Yes, ma'am. My name's Richard Capel. I'm with the Phoenix Volunteer Title II ADA Auditors, and we're a nonprofit organization, and we audit public entities and for compliance with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And one of
Yes,
them,
sir. You had called me earlier about an ADA coordinator, and I was calling you back to let you know that we have no staff person designated for this, and anything regarding an arrest would have to go to the sheriff's department, and I'll be glad to supply you with that phone number.
okay, does the Sheriff's Department have an Americans with Disabilities Act Title II coordinator? Because your transportation people do. And I find that
Right.
very strange that you have one for your buses and all that public transportation stuff, but you don't have one for your jail, and you don't have one for the sheriff's department, you don't have one for the administration building. You're way behind. This has been
I would
mandated since
refer you to
2007.
the sheriff's department, and I would be more than happy to give you their phone number.
Okay. Uh, I've got that phone number, but I'm
Okay.
gonna just wait for the Georgia Bureau of Investigations ADA coordinator to contact me back, and I'm just gonna
Okay.
report y'all to them and just let them handle it. Okay? I appreciate you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Hmm.
Bye now.
And hopefully other channels will pick it up and share it as well, or at least put it on their community page, um, because it's yet another egregious thing. People get scared in a public building of a camera, and then our boots on the ground have to get arrested because somebody got scared. So we've got plenty of people, police out there.
How can I share something?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to reach your Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator.
We don't have one of those.
I'm sorry.
We don't have that.
Did you say you don't have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator?
No, I know. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know anything about that. So.
Okay, there's no 11th Amendment immunities for non-compliance with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're supposed to have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator mandated since 2007, and if you don't have one, you don't qualify for federal funds. Hello? Ma'am? Should I just call the GBI?
GBI Communications Center.
Yes, I'm trying to reach the Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator.
Okay, this is Georgia Bureau of Investigation Communications Center.
Okay, well, this is the number that I thought that I could call and speak to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Americans with Disabilities Act Title II coordinator.
Okay, this is the Communications Center. I'm not sure for the Disability Act.
Okay,
Hold on 1 second,
you can go to
and
your
I can get you to
website
one
and
of our
search
regional.
GBI
Okay.
ADA, and it'll come right
Okay,
up.
I understand that. Hold on 1 second. I'm just explaining to you this is communication. I'm going to transfer you to a region that will probably have more information. We're just an emergency communication center. Hold on 1 second,
Okay,
okay?
okay, thanks.
No problem.
GBI, well,
Yes, sir. My name is Richard Capel. How are you, sir?
pretty good. You?
I've had better days. I got something to report to you. I need your help.
Sure.
Y'all have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator, compliments of yours truly on the phone. Hi. But Talbot County does not have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator at all. And they just arrested one of my volunteer Title II Americans with Disabilities Act auditors. Georgia Transparency is now in the Talbot County Detention Center. It's a bad arrest, and they don't comply with Title II of the ADA. The sheriff's department admitted to me 3 different times on the phone they do not have one, and then she hung up on me.
Okay, so this is the Atlanta office.
Right.
We don't handle Talbot County. And even if you agreed or disagreed with the arrest, that's not something that we would get involved in.
Right, but your Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator should be able to contact the sheriff and say, hey, there's no 11th Amendment immunities for non-compliance. You have to comply just like we do. You have an ADA coordinator, sir. If you look at your ADA, go to your website and type in Georgia GBI ADA, you have a named Americans with Disabilities Act Title II coordinator. I know this for a fact.
The arrest in Talbot County, that has nothing.
Talbot County is not complying with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. There's no 11th Amendment immunities for non-compliance with Title II of the ADA. If you do not comply with Title II of the ADA, you are committing fraud to receive federal funds. That's why you have an ADA Title II coordinator now. Talbot County does not.
You're saying that they're committing fraud.
Yes, sir.
The federal government.
If they are receiving federal funds of any kind and they don't have an ADA Title II coordinator like you do, then they are committing fraud like y'all don't anymore, like they still do.
Okay. So then you would need to call the VA or whoever within the federal government that handles ADA compliance and whatnot.
That's
not something that GBI would get involved in.
I'm asking to speak to your Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator, sir. I'm asking.
So I'll be honest, I've never heard of that, and I couldn't even tell you who that would be within this agency.
Okay, well, I will pull it up on the internet real quick and tell you, and maybe you can transfer me to that person. How's that?
Well, my guess is probably the person that transferred you to my office. They were probably there, but go ahead, enlighten me with what pops up on the interweb.
Okay, because I just left a message with the ADA Title II coordinator to call me about 20 minutes ago, and then I called the sheriff's
Okay.
department,
So you called
and
back, and they somehow sent you to the field officer.
yeah, no, they sent me to an actual ADA. You know, this was a voicemail for the ADA Title II coordinator for Georgia Bureau of Investigations. So, and I'm telling you, you have one. I made sure of that several years ago, because my brother was illegally arrested.
I'm not disputing that, but my guess is if we had one, it would be somebody in HR. It wouldn't be an agent.
Okay. Let's see. GBI ADA. Okay. Hit enter. And Georgia Bureau of Investigations, Americans with Disabilities Act. Dun dun dun. Here it is. I'm pulling it up now so I can read as to who the contact person is supposed to be, because it's supposed to be on your website. And it's listed in the employment section, so I think you're right. It's going to be human resources. Yep, it is human resources, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So then you have the number to human resources. That's who you need to be contacted.
Okay, well, I appreciate your help. Thank you so much. And just so you know, you do have one, and now you know. Okay?
Now I know.
Yes, sir. Have a good
Have a
day.
good one. All right. You too.
Human resources. How may I help you?
Yes, ma'am. My name's Richard Capel. How are you?
I'm well. Are you, Richard?
I'm doing okay. I asked an agent a minute ago who the ADA coordinator is, and we don't have one. I'm like, yes, you do. No, you have an Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator. I'd like to speak to him, please. And he was just very rude. And I've got an issue where somebody has done an ADA Title II audit on Talbot County, and he is now sitting in Talbot County Detention Center, and his rights were violated under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, as well as his First Amendment rights. And that's what he was doing, was an audit. And now he's in Talbot County Detention Center, and they do not comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act at all. I called the sheriff's department, asked them 3 different times, who's your ADA coordinator? We don't have one. Sir, we don't have one. And then she hung up on me. I think that's, needs to be looked into, and as a state agency, you guys would certainly be over the counties, and y'all could certainly let them know that, hey, you don't have 11th Amendment immunities, and neither do we. You have to comply just like we do. Stop committing fraud to the federal government to receive federal funds, and name an ADA coordinator for your detention center, name one for your sheriff's department, name one for your administration. Comply like you guys do. You know you comply. I know you comply. But Talbot County hung up on me. So my only option is to go to the GBI and say, hey, can you let Talbot County Sheriff's Department know that the jail needs an ADA coordinator, and the sheriff needs an ADA coordinator, and the administration building needs one too, and they're committing fraud to receive federal funds since 2007?
Oh, wow.
Well, look at you. I mean, you guys were committing fraud too until I got you to voluntarily comply, which is what I do. I look for voluntary compliance. I don't try to sue. I'm nonprofit, ma'am. I'm, Phoenix Volunteer Title II auditors. And all I do is target law enforcement, target courts, and ask for compliance. And I usually get it because there's no 11th Amendment immunities for non-complying with Title II. And if you don't comply with Title II, then you do not meet Section 504 requirements to receive federal funds. That's fraud. Yes, it is fraud. 100%, all day long. So can you help us disabled people out? I mean, we are the largest minority in the United States with voting rights.
Okay. So I don't deal with ADA, but I can get you in touch with someone. Let me see if they're out of a meeting.
Okay.
I'll contact a person and I'll get right back to you. Have a moment?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Headquartered just outside Atlanta, the GBI assists Georgia's law enforcement community with criminal justice investigations, forensic testing of evidence, and the dissemination of vital criminal justice information. The agency consists of 3 divisions: the Investigative Division, the Division of Forensic Sciences, also known as the State Crime Lab, and the Georgia Crime Information Center. An administrative section supports the divisions in carrying out the agency's mission. The GBI prides itself in providing quality services to its customers, Georgia's criminal justice community. Because it's an assisting agency to law enforcement, the GBI cannot initiate or become involved in an investigation at the request of a prosecutor. Thanks for holding. I'm going to take down your name and number. She's still in a meeting. It's our HR director who's over the ADA.
Okay.
And so I can take down your name and number. When she gets done, she can call you back. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, that'd be great. And I did leave her a voicemail message earlier. And
okay, so you already know who she is.
I don't know her name. I'm sorry. I just left a voicemail. The voicemail was like, "This is the ADA coordinator." I didn't hear the name or pay attention to the name. I just left a message.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But it's frustrating to me that one of your own GBI agents did not know you had an ADA coordinator.
Oh, wow.
One of your own agents told me that he doesn't know if they comply with that or not, and he doesn't know anything about it. And I'm like, well, there's no 11th Amendment immunities for it, and you guys have an ADA coordinator. I know you do, because several years ago I got y'all to voluntarily comply, and he's like, sir, I don't know nothing about that. Well, that's shocking to me, because it's the ADA coordinator's job to make sure everybody knows about Title II. You don't ask somebody, hey, what's your disability? That's a violation of Title II, just asking somebody what their disability is. You don't want to have a lawsuit like that, right? Nobody does.
Right.
And when you got agents like the one I just spoke to a little while ago that are cocky and are like, yeah, we don't do that. How are you going to get any kind of justice or help or, anything, And then when you think you got the right person on the phone and say, no, we don't have one. No, we don't have one. And then they hang up on you. I mean, come on. I'm trying to get them to voluntarily comply. So you guys are like my next option before taking them to court.
Okay.
And I would rather not take them to court. I would rather you guys say, hey, there's no 11th Amendment immunities. We have to comply with it too. So do you. That's what I would like for y'all to do if you could. I mean, why can't y'all do that? I mean, y'all are the GBI. Y'all are an assistant agency. Why don't you assist Talbot County in complying with Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act? That's what I hope y'all can do for me, because, y'all comply. I know y'all do. Y'all are good to go, but surely somebody there can call them and say, hey, look, Mr. Capel is correct. Y'all have to have an ADA Title II coordinator for your detention center. You have to have one for your sheriff's department. You have to have one for your, HR and all that, and your elections commission, everything. And your school board, they got one named for their transportation for their bus service, which is shockingly amazing, but they don't have one for anybody else or anything else. But if you use their bus service, they have ADA Title II coordinator you can call and get assistance with your transportation needs. But you can't get assistance with anything else because they don't comply. They don't even know about it. But you guys do comply, and I know you do. So that's why I'm calling to get your help. I'm reaching out. Y'all are like my last resort before just filing a lawsuit against them. I'd rather not do that. It's a whole lot easier to just say, hey, look, we got to comply too. So do you. Could y'all do that?
True. I'm Velma. I'm going to take down your name and number and make sure I give it to our contact.
Okay.
And for them to reach back out to you. Can you say your first and last name for me, sir?
Sure. It's Richard, common spelling, and the last name is Capel. I'll give it to you phonetically. Charlie, Alpha, Papa, Echo, Lima, Lima.
Okay, got that. And your contact number, Mr. Capel?
Area code 803-552-6574.
803-552-6574. And when I give them your name, what should I tell her? You're calling on behalf, of course, the ADA for any particular agency, or you're standalone?
I'm asking for you guys to assist me with informing Talbot County Sheriff that the detention center needs an ADA coordinator for the detainees, and the sheriff's department needs one for the citizens, and the county needs one for their HR, and they need to comply just like y'all do. They need to train their people just like y'all do. I shouldn't have an agent being ignorant of who his Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator is. Everybody should know that. It should be posted everywhere. It's online on the internet. And he was like, well, educate me then since it's on the interwebs. Okay, I will. And I pulled it up. And he said, well, there you go. You need to call our human resources. Have a good day. That's how polite this guy was to me. And he's one of your own agents.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
How did you come in contact with him?
I called the 800 number, got dispatch, and I'm like to speak to your ADA coordinator. They're like, huh? What? This is dispatch. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I need to speak to your Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator. Well, I'm not sure who that is. Hold on, let me transfer you to Human Resources. So they did. And it was fortunate. It was the ADA coordinator's voicemail that I got. So I left a voicemail message, a detailed one. Could you please contact Talbot County Sheriff Department and tell their detention center they have to have an ADA coordinator for the detainees, and they have to have one for the Sheriff's Department and the Elections Commission and all that junk, just like y'all do. And they have to train their people just like y'all do. And there should be nobody that doesn't know who their ADA coordinator is. Everybody should know that. So.
That's true. All right, well, I'll make sure I was aware, and I definitely have your number. Give it to her once she come out her meeting. Thanks so much for reaching out to us, Mr. Cavallo. We'll do whatever we need to in our power, okay, sir?
I appreciate your help so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.